for Facebook, this is the fourth edition of Educator's Corner. I'm Allison Henline. I'm the educator here at Shaker Historical Society. I realized that my mic was off for most of that, and I didn't realize, so I'm going to re-record a little bit of what I was just talking about. So this is going to be round two for Instagram. Today we're going to be discussing the history of greeting cards. Valentine's Day was just this past weekend. When I'm recording this now, it is February 17th and it is noon. So Valentine's Day was this past Sunday on the 14th, as it traditionally is every year. And I know there are a lot of us out there that celebrate this lovely holiday, and whether you had flowers or chocolates or stuffed animals or even some nice food made or delivered to you, um, there's always some special sentiment about giving somebody a personal message on a greeting card to show them that you love them. Um, Giving Valentine's Day cards and receiving Valentine's Day cards during any time of year, it might be a little bit weird, but we've come accustomed to it over time. So there are different events and occasions that one can give or receive greeting cards for. Especially in this day and age, as I mentioned before, where family and friends can be very far apart. Maybe you haven't seen them in months or coming up on a year now since, or more since the lockdown happened. It can be important to keep in touch and to give and share something that is a physical reminder of how much you care for and think about somebody. And even though Valentine's Day is typically seen as a romantic holiday, it's important to also celebrate all types of love in your life, platonic or otherwise. So I love Valentine's Day, and I think that greeting cards are just a nice thing to send and receive. So again, a brief history of greeting cards, and I'm sorry again to everyone watching on Instagram. The brief history of greeting cards is exactly what you would think it would be. They were created in ancient Oriental societies to give good greetings for a particular event or celebration. Many accredit the first greeting cards to have been of Chinese or Egyptian origin. Likely at the same time, a lot of different societies, we haven't necessarily had enough research yet, so there are still new things coming in, and we are actively changing that historical narrative. But thinking about, especially traditionally Chinese New Year and the Lunar New Year that has just recently happened, it is now the year of the ox. Typically, red envelopes are given with either money or good greetings and good tidings to celebrate the new Lunar New Year. What we would consider conventional greeting cards that you see today in most major box stores, or even just traditional handmade greeting cards, didn't really come about until about the 15th century, so about the 1400s. And they were not anything nearly like what we see today. They were typically more expensive to procure and more expensive to send and receive. It was usually only done in the upper echelons of societies and celebrated various religious holidays and other events. They grew in popularity over time, obviously, through the industrialization process. More machinery was able to be making more card products. A lot of different materials that are used in greeting cards were becoming more industrialized, and the invention of several different mechanisms and even the post office. There wasn't necessarily a post office in the 15th century, so it's kind of difficult to send and receive things on a normal person's budget. Um, Greeting cards for various situations and occasions, such as birthdays, religious holidays, became popular around the 19th century, so the 1800s. Of course, over time, designs, occasions, messages, and greeting cards all changed, and they vary wildly among different decades, even into the 20th century and the 21st century. Um, where today we have aisles of different greeting cards for literally any occasion for any person in your life, and they're pretty much available at any brick and mortar store, I would argue. I've been to gas stations where they have birthday cards at the cash checkout. So recently, as I mentioned before, Valentine's Day just happened, so I will not be necessarily focusing in on just the Valentine's Day traditions. I feel like that is something we can talk about probably next year in before Valentine's Day rather than afterwards. But Valentine's, and more recently the phenomenon of Galentine's Day, celebrates love in all forms and is traditionally associated with the giving and receiving of gifts that are meant to show affection towards someone in your life. To keep up with the spirit of kindness and affection, I'm going to show you some examples of historical Valentines and Galentines, early Galentines, from our own SHS collection. So this is a nice acid-free red folder, which is very, I want to say rustic and appropriate. So we have a couple of different cards here that are labeled. You might have seen these already on our social media, so I want to make sure that I have these in the correct order. So these ones, or this one here, we posted on our Facebook page. You can go back and see a couple of these. I think we also posted these on Instagram. This is Julius Pollock, who manufactured greeting cards in Vienna, Austria in the late 1800s and reopened the greeting card company when he moved to New York City in the 1900s. This was made by Julius Pollock and Sons, and we found this in our collection. It is a blank card, but it is also a postcard, and it has nice little glitter on it that is stayed very well. We have it very nicely preserved in our collection. And I would assume that the same company that created this card they also were the and Sons company. So Julius Pollock and Sons. So it's very interesting. And on the back, it just says postcard, and it says for USA and Canada. It's very, very interesting. And it says United States and Canada, 1 cent. Foreign is 2 cents. So if you're sending it outside the country, you have to put 2 cents. So another one that I wanted to share is more along the lines of a Galentine's Day card. So this one is unnumbered, and it's made by Rust Craft Shop in 1908. So over 100 years old, this card, and it still has really nice coloring, and it has a really nice design on it. And let me see. So this was made in Kansas City, Missouri. So the Rust Craft Greeting Card Company was founded in 1906 as a bookshop by Fred Rust in Kansas City, Missouri. The business moved to Boston around 1910, and it merged. Kraft was the first to offer bon voyage and greeting cards and graduation greeting cards. So when people go on a long trip or when they have a graduation, they were the first company that offered those situational and events cards. So it's pretty cool to have this piece of history in our collection. And on the inside, I'll read you the description. So on the outside, it says, "To my Valentine," which I might be backwards on Instagram, and I'm really sorry about that. Again, we are simulcasting this to our Facebook Live and to our Instagram, and this is recorded and will be available on our YouTube. So I'll read the inscription, and I'll show you it too. It says, "In all the glad year, there is one day that is especially dedicated to friendship, and the good saint whose day it is tries to see to it that we forget our own troubles and cares and remember that friends who are far away are always near. In the name of St. Valentine, with happy memories of past days, I wish you joy. May his genial countenance, be with you through the coming year and bring you good luck and good cheer." How cute is that? This cute little message. So there you have it. That's the outside. And then the inside is what I just read. So again, this is in our collection. And I have some different, I like to think of them as funky Valentines. This one actually has some gold leaf on it. This one was printed in Germany, and that's pretty much all we know about it, in the early 1900s. So there has some gold leaf detail on it. It's got like a little cherub design on it. It's a pretty cool little card. There's no information on the back. Again, this was a postcard. It was manufactured in Germany. And that's all we know about it. And then another cool one. So these ones are kind of 3D. This one says, "To my Valentine." It's incredibly fragile, so I'm going to try and support it the best I can. It's a little cutout, and it's colorized. It says, "To my Valentine." And then on the back, it says, "To Miss Mason from Mary." I can't read her last name, but it is a Valentine sent to and from 2 ladies. So very, very interesting. This one was also printed in Germany in the early 1900s. So very, very cool stuff. I quite like it because you can see that it was pressed on the back. So on the back, there's a nice, you can see that it was pressed by either a machine or by some sort of manufacturing mechanism. So it's very, very interesting to see all of these different cards and I encourage you that if you have any at home that you have yet to either, cite or see, or maybe your grandmother or grandparents have any cards, either from their wedding or from any other events that they had in their life. Early on, it's always interesting to see what people send each other and to read the messages that they share with one another. So before I get into our little activity over lunchtime today, I also wanted to do a little quick shameless plug for our Spirit Tree gift shop. It is online and available for local pickup. We are still working on figuring out shipping to the community and the greater world. But I wanted to show off a couple of things that we have in our collection, in the gift shop collection that is available for purchase. And we have a couple of a lot of these are Shaker themed, so Shaker, Ohio, and the Shakers. We have a lot of different themes. So here's one that's a nice little blank greeting card. It's black and white. It's printed on a nice cardstock, and it's just blank on the inside. I believe this retails for $1 on its own. It's a nice little gift card, and it could be used, you don't have to send it. You could also just buy it and maybe put it in a frame. This would be a nice decoration. I think all these would make really nice decorations. Then we have a collection of, this is just the envelopes. I'm going to put the envelopes to the side. We have a nice collection of different paintings and depictions that we found either in our collection or that were commissioned, early on in Shaker Historical Society history. So here is one, I believe this is of the Van Swearingen home. Yeah, the Van Swearingen house. So here's this one. And then on this one, this is just titled Shaker Artifacts, which is a nice little hand-drawn, well, it's not hand-drawn, it's almost like a lithograph that's printed on here. And these are also available for $1 a piece. And then new to all these are not quite yet on our website, but we will be putting them on our Spirit Tree gift shop this week, so they will be available for purchase soon. We have a nice collection of vintage postcards in our collection in the Spirit Tree gift shop, that is. They are various Shaker scenes. So these are historical Shaker photographs. Most of them, I believe, are from our collection. So if you wanted these pictures for, personal decoration or for, to send anybody, we do have these available. This is, I believe, of the mill house. Yep, the grist mill. So this is the grist mill depiction. This is a picture from our collection that is now memorialized on a postcard. And all the backs of the postcards have this nice sort of script font on them and give you a little bit of information about the scene. So there's 4 in this collection. So here's number 1, the grist mill. This one, I believe, is the Horseshoe Lake. So Horseshoe Lake in Shaker Heights. This is a nice old scene of Horseshoe Lake. This one's printed upside down. So this is the Shaker Meeting House, which stood at the corner of Lee Road and Shaker Boulevard. It's a nice, small little building. I've not seen this yet in our collection, so I'll have to look for that original photo. And then this, I believe, this is a century home. It doesn't say which century home, but it is a century home which apparently existed in Shaker Heights when this was printed. So it's a very nice little collection, and there's 4 different scenes in this collection, and we are selling 8. So you get 2 of each postcard, and it's going to be in a bundle for $3. So very affordable, I think, to have a little bit of this in your home, or to give to somebody maybe as a housewarming present, or somebody who's particularly interested in, maybe old photographs or old Shaker memorabilia. This is a nice way to give somebody in your life something like this. Additionally, we do have a pack of, I believe there's 4 cards here. So these are Shaker, this is a drawing of a Shaker sewing table in a pack of 4. And you can't read the tag, but it says $3.25 for this pack of 4. This was done by a local artist. And then our infamous, I think we're the only ones that carry these anymore, but we have our infamous box sets of depictions of Shaker women. I believe this one is Mother Ann Lee. And we have these available. These are blank on the inside, so it would be good for any occasion, really. It's kind of hard to see them. But these are very popular, and I believe we're running out of them. So if you wanted to pick up a box of these just to have, I believe they are, I want to say they're $5 a piece for each box set. I don't know how many are in them. There's really no information on these. But there is a good chunk of them. They're very weighty, so I would assume probably 10 to 12 different cards, and they're all blank on the inside. And then, of course, we have our giving tree, our staple of Shaker Historical Society. This spirit tree drawing was done by Hannah Kuhun in 1854. So you can have this little piece of colorized spirit tree in your home. I mean, or send it to somebody. This is a nice quality gift card, or postcard rather. And I believe these ones are 50 cents a piece. So it's a nice, cheap little gift that you can give somebody to send to tell them that you're thinking about them. Now for the DIY activity, I know this might be a little bit on the summer camp sort of side of things, but I think it's also a fun thing to do, especially as we're, coming up, we're cleaning. Spring cleaning is happening right now, and there might be some things that you just can't bring yourself to throw away. Maybe you have a particular calendar that you really enjoy, or maybe you have a photo book or an old magazine that you just had lying around that you just really just don't want to throw away, but you want to put to good use. We've made out of our old 2020 calendars here at Shaker Heights. So here's our 2020 calendar. We had a couple of them left over. So what I had done, instead of throwing these away and wasting these beautiful photos that were done by Shelly Frisch Small, I decided to turn these into little DIY cards. So all that I did was I took the image from the calendar. So this is how it was sitting, like this. I ripped it out, cut it out, and folded it in two and cut off the edges so that way it would fit into a normal birthday card or greeting card envelope, and pasted a blank piece of paper or a blank piece of scrap paper on the inside so that way I could write my own message. And this is just a fun, easy way of doing something like this. Of course, you can go crazy and make collages out of old magazines. I actually have a few here that I was going to demonstrate. And of course, little stamps are always really nice. I know we have a couple of random stamps laying around my house as well. Just something to do, if you just need to get something creative out. I think everyone needs a little bit of a creative outlet every now and then. And if cutting and pasting is something that you enjoy, then go for it. We also have an old issue. We offer these for free at our museum. Any Ohio History Connection site will offer these Echoes magazines for free, and we often have a few left over. So if you wanted to use these for a nice project, there's a lot of interesting old imagery in here, and a lot of them, like this is a nice thick cover that you could use to repurpose into a nice greeting card. Of course, you might also have some Shaker magazines, Shaker Life magazines lying around. For example, we have one here that is I believe, a quadruplet. We get a lot of these donated to the museum, and we decided to use this one as an education collection item. So that way we can make collages and scrapbooks and things out of them for our educational programming. So as you can see, this is a really nice photo. You can use this photo and cut pieces of it out. You can just use this whole thing as maybe a greeting card. Just get creative. It's fun to just cut and paste and, be a kindergartner again. It's always just fun just to make a little bit of a mess every now and then. So that's kind of all I have today. And I just wanted to thank you again for your continued support of the Shaker Historical Society. We have a lot of good upcoming events happening, things that I'm particularly excited about and can't wait to see. But where was I going with this? Okay, sorry. I wanted to pull up our calendar. So we have tomorrow night, actually, Dr. Donna White is presenting a Facebook Live, and for our members only, a Zoom Live. So if you're a member, we will be sending out a Zoom link for you to join through there if you would rather join through Zoom or Facebook. That is completely up to you. But Dr. Donna White is going to be talking about America, Race, and Me, and she's going to be discussing her lifelong commitment to racial equity and its roots in her personal experience and her family's experience growing up. And then this weekend, we have with our director, Brianna Trelevin, and special guest, Angel Chapman, are going to be discussing representation in collections. So that's going to be happening on February 21st at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. That's going to be free to the public. All of these events are free to the public. So you don't need to RSVP or anything like that. Just show up, and these ones are going to be, ones that you don't really want to miss. Okay, so if anybody has any questions or any comments about anything, please feel free to post them in the comments down below. I just saw all the Facebook Live notifications saying that they couldn't hear me. I hope that it all sorted itself out in the end. I'm really, really sorry about that technical difficulty. Although this is our fourth one, we are still trying new things and figuring out new uh, technological and troubleshooting issues. So I appreciate your patience and your support, not only in these educators' corners, but also in supporting the Shaker Historical Society. I wanted to say a huge thank you to all the annual fund donations that have come in and all the people who have renewed and signed up for new memberships. Although it might seem like a small thing, your memberships do really mean a lot to us. And if you haven't already yet renewed your membership to the Shaker Historical Society, we have multiple tiers of membership available to you with various interesting and cool perks and exclusives that are available only to members. And a lot of cool things happening this spring and summer that you're going to want to be a member for. And additionally, if you are interested in volunteering for the Shaker Historical Society, I would love to have you here. We have a lot of interesting and great opportunities available for volunteers, more than just docents, although we could use those as well. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to visit our Shaker website or Shaker Historical Society website at shakerhistory.org. And if you have any questions about anything that I talked about or about anything in general, you can just shoot me an email at education@shakerhistory.org. I wanted to thank you again for stopping by today, spending a little bit of your lunch break with me, or whenever you're watching this, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties that we've occurred today, that we've encountered today. We're still working out the kinks. So again, I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out here today. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. And hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow at Dr. White's talk at 6 p.m. Thank you again, and bye bye.